Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to join me this evening on the Bridges of Light as we start on a journey to explore aromatherapy oils. Ciao to my Italian friends that join us every week. And I talk a little bit while we have the group joining in because hi Sonia, I don't want to have anyone missing what is happening this evening. My journey into aromatherapy oils was, again, like a lot of my life, happened rather than it planned. I never thought of working with the oils. And many years ago, I'm going back to 1991, I was working for a lady who processed the oils, and I was working with making the lotions and blends of oils, and yeah, you know, it was work. I didn't really realize what the aromatherapy oils were able to do. So just to tell you how I was convinced, one day there was a row of bottles on the shelves that was all different oils, but there was only a little bit taken out of each one. So of course that annoys me when there's 10 bottles maybe of the same oil was sitting on the shelf opened. So I decided I was going to clear the oils and wash the bottles and get it tidier. So at the time we were doing 27 oils, and I started with the bottles, and I started to wash the bottles in good hot water with my hands, and as the oils just kept, you know, there was probably the 27 oils, I'm not sure to be honest, but there was a good mix. Hi Mara, you're very welcome. There was a good mix of oils in this basin of hot water. So that was okay. It came to evening time when I was going home. And I had about 25 miles to drive to home. Hi Paul and Gianluca. I hope I'm saying it right. Gian and Helena, how are you? I'm just telling the story about how I gained appreciation of aromatherapy oils. But on my way home, I got into the car and I was driving as if I was physically sitting in the back of the car and my mind was sitting in the front driving the car. I was totally disorientated from my body. And that was the greatest lesson. It wasn't by chance it happened. It was one of these coincidences that is created. So that's what brought me to realise that aromatherapy oils are far more than just a nice scent. So then about 2 or 3 years later, I went and did my aromatherapy diploma. So it just showed me how the oils could affect. And sure, there was no stronger way for them to get into my system than it was through my skin with hot water. Hi Susie. So the oils are very, very potent, and we're going to look this evening at just different oils for different conditions. Every aromatherapist has their own range of oils within what we go through in the college doing the diploma. It's because we're drawn to certain oils. I told a story last week about not liking clary sage. It was more than not liking it. It was definitely a no-go area. That was something that was going on in me. That was nothing to do with just disliking the oil. It was clary sage is very much a hormone balancer. And at that time, I was going through a marriage breakup. I was going through moving home with children, and it was everything that was going on at that particular time. So it just shows how you identify or not identify with an oil. So what we have our favourites, of course, and we have those favourites really because we identify with them. And it's something that's within us that says, this oil, I like this oil. So in general, what you will find if you went to different aromatherapists for massage or for to get a blend of oil, you would find that if you told them the conditions that you were suffering from and the reason that you were going to them for a massage, they probably would come up with different oils to a previous aromatherapist. So just, you go with the flow, you go with what comes up for you. The one thing, there's a couple of areas I want to make sure to cover. Say, there are conditions that are not suitable for using some of the oils. And the reason being that for example, rosemary, if anyone has high blood pressure, while rosemary is a great oil to use, if someone has high blood pressure, it's not. It's because it's a stimulant. It will actually increase the blood pressure, and that's a no-go area. So when you're picking essential oils, a couple of things you need to be sure of, and you'll smile at this. Are you pregnant? Do you have a condition that would be negatively affected by, as they're saying, we're listening to the term now, underlying conditions. It's a new terminology now that we build into our vocabulary. But it's to see if there's conditions there that actually will be affected by using the oils. Now this is a show today. We'll be working with the oils till 7:30. If you have questions, please just pop them in the box at the bottom. I call it a box. My technology is so vast. Just pop it in, and I will try to give you an answer if I can, and if I can't, I can't. But I may pass on to someone who can. There's several ways of using the oils. We all know about the massage, and we all understand that it's nice and relaxing. It's lovely to go there and listen to the music and be nice and relaxed. Aromatherapy massage, people just think of it as massage in general, and can come away sometimes thinking, oh, that wasn't much good because it didn't go deep enough. Aromatherapy massage is not meant to go deep. The purpose of aromatherapy massage is to apply the oils onto the skin, and to do that's the purpose of it. So it's very much about effleurage, which is a sweeping movement on the body. That's the main body of an aromatherapy massage. The reason being that with the oils, their function will be to get into the bloodstream, and that happens by having the massage. The oils are in the blend, so that's the first part of how you use the oils, the essential oils. Some people, and I don't know how they came up with two different titles, because what aromatherapy oils are, they're essential oils of the plants, the flowers, the trees, whatever source they are. They're the essential oils, which in other words is the essence of the substance of the plant life. So anyway, you'll hear me calling them aromatherapy oils. That's generally the way I term them. Right, there's different ways of using the oils, and one is the massage. That's the first one. The second one you can do by inhaling, because we'll also cover a little bit about that as we move on. We inhale the oils, so we can do that in different ways. Sometimes it's on a tissue. If if we have a cold and our sinuses are blocked up, we can use a tissue and put a couple of drops of eucalyptus on the tissue, and that will help to relieve. It's a decongestant, so it will help to relieve that congestion up in the sinuses. Hello, Marie. So that will be one way of it. The other is, for adults definitely only, would be to steam, to go in over a basin of water and good warm water, and a towel over your head and the bowl, so you're inhaling it quite intensely. So that's another great decongestant. I say not with children because of the risk. I'd never recommend anyone to do it with a child because the risks that's involved. You have a compress, and we'll see later on. I have all the bits and bobs here to do it, but it will, whatever way the show goes, we'll work with it. A compress is great for having a migraine, to put it on up here on across your forehead, and for some people they're getting the migraine at the back of the head as well. So you could have a compress that would go around. Now, not on the top of the head. Just have it that it goes across around here, because it doesn't. If you kind of close off the top of the head, it's not getting in. It's just, you're more or less at surface. It's too much of a surface compress you have then. You have as well, if someone sprained an ankle or wrist or whatever, you would use a cold compress on directly on it by putting the oils into the water, putting the cloth, the likes of a cloth, soaking it in the oils in the water, and then applying it onto the affected area. So that's one way. You have then you have the general. You can use it in a diffuser in a house, where it just fills up the room, and it's great if there's a cold or a flu. I don't know about the virus, but it can't do any harm, because the likes of tea tree oil and lavender, they're antiviral. Hi, Sabrina. They're antiviral, and they will quite possibly help to. I'll tell you what I would feel they would do, rather than when the person has the virus. It would help to keep the room and house clear. When you use aromatherapy oils in the house, just in a burner or in a diffuser, one of the things I'd say to you is that be sparing with the oils that you put in. Basically, because you get used to the smell, you get used to that aroma wafting through the house. You put in, if you said after an hour, oh, I put in more oils, you would be overloading at that point. The way to measure whether oils have stopped working is to go outside and spend a couple of moments outside, well, not more than a couple of moments, a couple of minutes outside, get the air, fresh air, clearing your system, and then walk back in and see what you feel in the aroma in the room. Because you become immune to it. And believe me, I know, because of my work, and there's some people here from where I used to work, and they would smell it and I wouldn't, because we got used to it. So it is it's something that you just need to be aware of, because some of the oils can be a bit heady. They can make your head feel a bit woozy. I won't say sick, but it's that kind of uncomfortable feeling. So that's something that you just need to be careful about and take into consideration. Anyone have any questions that they would like to ask about the use of oils? As I say, if you're pregnant, any oils that has a hormonal value to them, and muscular as well, the likes of marjoram, it's a muscular, it's good on the muscular system, and it's not recommended for pregnancy. Generally, I'm not qualified in pregnancy massage and taking someone through the pregnancy. I can massage someone at the end of the pregnancy where it's not a risk of premature labour. I'm covered for that, but not on the ongoing from, we'll say, the first trimester. I'm not covered in insurance-wise to work at that level. There's a special course to do for working at that level. But it's you can recommend oils to pregnant women, something that's just relaxing, but on a smaller dilution, higher dilution, the other way. With a lot of people think oils can be just simple to throw into a bath for someone suffering from depression. One of the great oils for suffering from depression would be bergamot. Bergamot is a lovely light. It's something that's refreshing. It's one of the citrusy oils, and you would have that. You could burn that. Now, again, one of the things I do always worry about citrusy is that it has that. It's not strong in no, not getting into the technical end of it, because I forget half the terms that was used for the oils and the oils in the oils. It's something, depression, it's good to have bergamot, a couple of drops on tissue, just a couple, about 2-3 drops, no more. And to be able to have that on your person for during the day, so that whenever you begin to feel a bit kind of, I suppose, that you feel the first elements of the depression coming in. Now, on an ongoing basis, yes, to use it, you can use the bergamot for anxiety, depression, and it will work either in a bath, you're welcome, Emery. That's what it's about, is getting out of whatever you need. The questions is what makes that. In the bath, in the house, have it in a burner, and use the burner for about an hour, 2 hours. Stop, let it die away, and then maybe in a few hours later, to put it on again, so that it's got to the point where it's raised up, it's allowed to settle, and then again later on that you'll be able to relax again with it. I have a thing about oils that if you use them all the time, your system becomes immune to the effect. You're better switching if you were working with wanting an antidepressant. Another great one is lemon. You wouldn't use lemon in a blend of oils this time of year where you're out in the sun, because it can change the pigment on your skin. But say if you're indoors, lemon is lovely to use in a burner. Skin sensitivity is a big one. If you haven't used something like that before, I always maintain this area up here is the best area to test, because down here it used to be, but down here we kind of have that skin exposed quite a lot, so it's better to be up here, because we're more enclosed in that area. And what you would do is you would put the 2 drops of lemon into a teaspoon of oil and just mix it, and then just dab it and wait 24 hours to see if there's any reactive things going on in it. Excuse me. So the tester always, when you're using something different, because it is very, very, oils are very potent, and you need to know what, how they will react to you and you to them. Okay, so if we'll move on. Yeah, I want to look at the different systems. When you with respiratory, we'll say someone had asthma, someone had bronchitis, someone had these type of conditions. One of the lovely ones I love for working with that condition is sandalwood, because it opens up the lungs, and it also is grounding, which if someone is suffering from congestion in the lungs, there's a lot of anxiety around that. So, you know, to work with the whole, we don't just work with the one aspect that's presented to you. What you would do is look at the whole picture. So someone coming to you, you would ask questions, or I would ask questions about different aspects of their lives, so that it wasn't just the presenting condition. I'd want to see what's going on in their lives that actually has that condition been highlighted at the moment. So it's things like that is the holistic approach, not just the condition that's been presented. It's very, very, like when we think of our breathing being affected, we have, it's one of the areas where rosemary is quite good. Once there's no high blood pressure or circulatory condition, rosemary is very good to use. And rosemary as well is very good for memory. Yeah, that's questionable. I question that. No, I'm only joking on that one. But it is good. It's great for the circulation. That's its first prime. And you would find if students doing certain exams, it's one of the big herbs and oils that's used for students going into their exam rooms. And you know, it's so important at that point in time that their mind is clear and they need lots of oxygen flowing through their body. And this is where the rosemary helps. Another condition you wouldn't use the rosemary for is where there's seizure activity. Again, because it's a stimulant, and the neurological system would be stimulated in the process. So it's just to be aware that every oil has elements that are positive and elements that may be not so positive. One of the most common oils used is lavender. It's one of the safest, even though there is a question mark raised about using lavender with seizure activity. Now, it hasn't been taken off the list, but we're told just to be aware of it. So it would depend on the level of seizure activity that would be assessed. Hi, Angelo Shanti, sorry. I'll throw it back down and dish it out again. How are you? Yeah, so if what you have in the oils is if you have someone in your home that has different conditions, research the oils first before you start to introduce them, because it's important that you do, like if someone's is having cancer treatment, just have lavender burning, have it that it's nice and relaxed, that it is something to help create a nice calm inner environment for the person. That's treating the respiratory system, the neurological system, the circulatory system, so you're looking at the whole body, the muscular, every part of the body when you want to create a relaxed inner environment. So it shows where you can't underestimate how it works, because they are so extraordinary, as I told in the story at the beginning, how I got into it. Hi Sabrina, how I got into it. Yeah, it just is that Mother Nature. Years ago, people lived by it. They lived by going out and picking up the herbs and the grasses. And going back in time when I was a child, I was asked to go out and look in where there was wilderness. It was literally a wild area. It was enclosed in the back of a house. And I was sent out to look for a certain type of grass. And on the root of the grass was tubers. And when the reason I was sent out, it was to get this grass. These tubers were then separated from the grass head, and they were boiled to a certain, they were only softened. No, I was a child, so I'm not sure, but it was only, I remember the smell of them was terrible. They were boiled to a certain extent and then crushed, and they were to treat the good old hemorrhoids, which are not a new condition today, because not today or yesterday I did that. They were used for treating the hemorrhoids, and that was made in a poultice. So that was just the general, go look for something out in the garden. That's how people lived, and this is where we have so much of the essence of Mother Nature in the plants and in the trees. There's cinnamon, and cinnamon is a bark made from the bark, and it's crushed. The oils are crushed out of the bark of trees. So it is so interesting when you look and see and explore it. It's unreal where we get all of these, and they're used by the pharmaceutical companies. A friend of mine had open heart surgery, and he said to me, he showed me a cream that he got when he was leaving the hospital, and it was lavender and arnica, which is the good old homeopathy approach to healing. So it's little by little, it's being brought into the orthodox medical profession, and that means an awful lot to get them to open up to what Mother Nature is giving us. We have one of the things that we need to look at is that oils are anti-inflammatory, they're anti-viral, most of them are antiviral. They will work on conditions, but one of the things I'd like to say is that the likes of chamomile oil, I adore it. Not a lovely smell of it, but I adore its qualities. But you always be aware that there's just a certain amount of, you need to blend it with 5 to 6 drops of oil, of aromatherapy oils, to 10 mils, which is 2 teaspoons of carrier oil. The carrier oil can be sweet almond, it can be grapeseed oil, it can be coconut oil, it could be any one of the carrier oils. Coconut oil is nice and light and is easy to apply on the face, it's not greasy, where sweet almond is a heavier oil and it's actually better for body massage. And grapeseed oil, is just similar, and grapeseed oil, it's just there, we'll say secondary. When you want to apply the massage, you always stroke upwards towards the heart, always and ever. Take the strokes moving up. Hi Eleanor, how are you? Always stroke upwards towards the heart, and that will help to stimulate the circulation. So no matter what the oils that you're using, that's the system that you take on. So it's something if you want to take a bath in the oils, believe it or not, the quantity of the essential oils you put into a bath is 6 drops. And I mean 6 drops. I don't mean 6 shakes of the bottle. I mean 6 drops of oil. And what you do is you half fill your bath to half full of what you would normally fill it. Put your 6 drops into the bath. If you're using 2 different oils, if you're blending the oils, you would only put 5 drops in, because they become more potent in a mix. You can put 3 and 2. What you do is you fill the bath to your normal level, and when you get into the bath, the oils will attach to your skin. So then when you sit down in the bath, it's been just literally, the film of oil is all over your body that's in the water, and that starts the process of absorption into the bloodstream. That's number 1. Number 2 is that you're inhaling the oil. So as you inhale, it's going into the bloodstream from your lungs. You're inhaling it into your lungs. Your lungs is filtering it into your bloodstream. So you have a double approach. And it is, and I know that baths are got rid of in a lot of houses, and it's unfortunate, because in all honesty, there was no nicer way of relaxing and having the oils coming in around you, and literally you could saturate yourself in the oils. So this is where I think there's no more questions, but we're going to move on to do our meditation. If anyone wants any information afterwards, just drop me a message and I'll get back to you and answer your question if I can. If I can't, you know what my answer is there. So what we'll do now is, because it's just gone half, and we'll get into our meditative role at the minute. So nice and relaxed, be sitting in a comfortable chair. Yes, Rose Absolute. Very, very expensive. It's Rose, like in Rose Absolute, it's an antidepressant. It's literally, there's so many things to do with the menstrual cycle. It balances the menstrual cycle. It's good for literally anything. If there's someone suffering from anorexia, it's good for that balance that comes in there. So it's a powerful oil, extremely expensive, but well worth it. If you think that in 1 ml, there's on average about 20 drops of oil in 1 ml, because it's viscosity, it's 25 is the norm, but the Rose Absolute is more thicker, and there's 20 drops in a ml. So if you have a 5 ml bottle, you do get fair use out of it. So yeah, that's the one of the lovely oils. That and jasmine is another very, very expensive oil. Okay, so let's just get ourselves nice and comfortable, and hopefully this is going to work now with it. Yeah, we're on cue. Just find yourself in a nice comfortable position in the chair. And just at this moment in time, you're going to take a journey just specially for you, your spirit and your guides. So just take a deep breath. As you breathe in, you're breathing in with awareness. And as you breathe out, just allow yourself to relax and to be at ease, releasing any tension and becoming aware of all aspects of yourself. Just with your next breath, take a deep breath down into the pit of your stomach and just be aware of any tension that's in any part of your body. And with your outward breath, give that tension permission to leave. And the journey we're going to go on today is a journey to blend with your spirit body, leaving the mind that it knows you will be relaxed and at ease in the journey with your spirit. So in your mind's eye, now go to the front door of the building that you're in. If you're in an apartment, just go to the front door, going outside. Just in your mind's eye, just allow yourself to build that vision in your mind. As you stand at the door, just breathe in fresh air, allowing your lungs to expand. And as you breathe out, you're giving yourself permission to go on a journey. Now just step away from the door and look around you and just see which way you're drawn to go, whether it's straight forward or to the left or to the right. There is no right or wrong. Just allow yourself to be just natural in the process. And now as you start walking, you start to smell the fresh air. You start to be aware of your surroundings. and you're walking a path that literally can go across fields, byways, doesn't matter. You are where you're meant to be. And as you walk, you hear the birds. The birds are singing in celebration that you're here with them. They're flying around you, making you aware of their presence. And as you walk, you see in front of you a hill that's in the distance. And if you want to take off your shoes and walk on the bare ground, Mother Earth is there protecting you. You're going forward all the time. Just nice and relaxed. And being at ease. As you walk, the hill is getting closer. But now you find that you're aware of a presence with you. Aware of warmth. And also aware that the presence that's with you has been with you before. Spend a few moments just acknowledging their presence. And you see now, beside where you're walking, there's lovely wildflowers, just all different colours. Stand for a moment and just breathe in. Just be aware of that beautiful scent. It's just so calming, just being aware of the essence of Mother Nature. Just now bend down and pick a few of those flowers. And as you look at them, a bird comes close to you. And place the flowers in the palm of your hand. Put your hand out towards the bird. And offer the bird one of your flowers. It comes over and it picks one of the pink flowers that you picked from the ground. bird goes off, very happy with the flower in its beak. Now continue walking on the path. And as you walk, you come across the sound of water flowing. That's flowing over the stones, making that lovely rippling sound. Walk over towards the stream. And as you stand by the bank of the stream, just take one of your flowers and just throw it into the water. Let it go on its journey. Doesn't matter what colour, just allow it to go on that journey. We move on now. We're finding that the top of the hill is getting closer. And as we walk towards it, the birds come back and they're flying around you now, and you know they're trying to say something to you. So just stand still for the moment and allow them to just draw close to you and listen to what they're saying. They have a message for you. And as they're giving you the message, the presence of your guide draws close. Lovely and close. So now, thank the birds for the message that they gave you. And there's one bird still wants to stay, and he's still flying around. And this time, he's waiting for you to give him the flowers. So the colours that the flowers now are lovely and calming and healing. So as he takes the flowers, you find that the energy that was holding you back is now nice and light and easy to see forward. The hill that seemed in the distance feels now as if you're right beside it. The distance just seemed to melt away. So you're walking now towards the top of the hill. And as you're walking towards the top of the hill, you reach out your arms and feel the breeze. Feel the warmth of the sun. And be aware that this is your spiritual journey, the journey that you're meant to be on. Your spirit only looks forward. It never looks back. So now you're going to stand at the top of the hill that you thought you would never reach. And now you're going to stand for about 2 minutes and you're going to breathe in the air. Beautiful, fresh, fragrant air that Mother Nature has given you as a gift. Just be aware of the reason that you're standing here. Now, as you've stood there on the top of the hill, just be aware that everything you've experienced is about your spiritual journey. The healing that was given to you by the pink flower, so that the problems that was taken away by the bird. Be aware that at the stream you are washed free of all that's holding you back. It brought you to the point of realizing that you were able to climb that hill without any bother. And just to stand there and take in the view that's there, take in just the feeling of freedom. It's all there for you. Every single bit of it. Believe in it. Be aware of your strength. Your guide has been with you. Our guides are always with us at different levels. But this journey tonight was one about just being aware of your spirit. So be aware that they will be sending, your guide will be sending you messages that sometimes might be just not, you mightn't be able to see what the message is or hear what the message is, but they will be doing it. Because I feel the energy that was chosen for tonight had a meaning, because as you know, anyone that has been here before knows it took on a different format. So just be aware that your spirit is precious and that there's nothing your spirit can't do. It's our minds that puts the barriers in. But now at the end of the meditation, rather than going back to where you started, you're going forward from where you are, and your shoes will reappear. So it's all about going forward and not turning back and looking at the past. Just gradually come back to awareness of where you're sitting. And just take a few moments before settling back into the rush and the fuss of the evening. I'd just like to say hi to everyone that joined us during that, because I don't get broken away from the meditation when you join at that point. But just to be aware that the healing that was taking place there at that point with the bird, just accept it. It's something that we actually need to be aware when we receive healing, that we acknowledge it and thank the universal spirit for it, because that's where it's from, and that's where we need to become more aware of. I'll leave you in a moment. I'd like to thank you first of all for being here. You can listen to the meditation part on the replay if you like at any time. Next week I'll be doing the cards, the colour cards, and we won't be doing the meditation next week. So the last Friday of the month is going to be on cards, so we'll kind of build that into the programme of events. I hope you have a lovely evening, and my advice to you is just to take it easy at the minute. Just allow that healing to take place. Thank you, and wish you good night and a lovely evening, a lovely weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Okay?